Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Prime Time with Independent Thinker and yours truly, Ivan Showtime, on this 14th day of January. And I must say, Independent Thinker, man, we in the middle of the month already, and Christmas was just yesterday. Well, anyway, again, happy New Year to those of you who haven't seen or had a chance to speak to. And tonight's show, we got a great show lined up for you as always. It's just a matter of us being able to execute it, Independent Thinker.
Yes, sir.
And for those of you who could get us on Facebook, of course, we're Facebook Independent Thinker. Also, we're on Instagram, Independent Thinker 242. And of course, numbers here in the studio, 325-8255. Independent Thinker, top of the evening to you.
326-8255.
Yeah, 326-8255. And Independent Thinker, this is another evening where we're going to talk about a lot of things that have been going on. For instance, locally, we see where the Prime Minister had a speech the other night. A lot of people were not too enthused about it.
No?
They were thinking he would have, talk about more details in reference to some of the things that are happening as far as the country opening slowly and whatever have you, and some of the things that we need to start to get on track and going. As for internationally, well, you know your buddy has been impeached for the second time. He's talking Donald Trump now. Mm-hmm. And people are saying Donald Trump is just sticking with his promise because he said he's going to make America great again. And it seems like he's well on the way.
Good evening, Bahamas. This is Independent Thinker Live in Great Studios, Love 97. The host of the show, Showtime. I'm along with him and my special producer, Mr. Jones, and our extraordinary engineer, Mr. Gibson. Listen, what a week it was, eh? I mean, listen, from one thing to the next, from the riot.
Everything.
I mean, listen, who would ever thought that the United States would have been exposed like that? But then Donald Trump, the president of the United States, conducting himself in this manner from the start.
From the start.
I mean, even before he won, he been carrying on like this. I mean, his campaign was never about winning from the break.
No.
He was about advertising Trump products, paraphernalia, making money, he's just publicity and something like that. But he ended up winning because of the tiresomeness of ordinary people who feel that the system don't work for them, or isn't working enough for them, or they'd rather give somebody else a chance other than the ordinary politicians. And so when I see all that riot happen, I was fortunate enough, and I wasn't feeling it at the time, and I was home when the riot began, and it just amazed me, and I just was shocked. Yeah. And I said, could you imagine if one of our former guests, Paul Rhodes, see that? Coincidentally, he called me today.
Well, good evening to Paul Rhodes.
He's back at the house from Cuba.
Oh, he's in Cuba.
He's in Cuba over the Christmas holiday. And he called me today right behind the road. I said, could you imagine if a likes of Paul Rhodes saw how they tried to overthrow the government and went inside Congress.
What is so surprising to me in regards to that was how people were saying that they don't think he should have been impeached.
No, I don't mind them. I think plenty of the Republicans who are speaking a fool of themselves. Speaking a fool of themselves are those who have great fear of the repercussion of Donald Trump and those who support him. Trust me, because if you have statements made by a rioter or rioters that they're coming for the Speaker of the House, they're coming for the Vice President, and you still supporting the fair rhetoric. It gotta be more than that, what meets the eye. They come inside the White House or in Congress, whatever you call it, with tie straps, right? They come in there with one or two of them had gun, firearm. They're talking about it tonight on MSNBC, and you still, still think. I mean, Lindsey Graham, he's amazing. I see how Mitch McConnell do not a full
About time.
180. He did like a 179.
360.
Because now he's saying, he ain't make up his mind yet. And, his wife was the cabinet secretary for education.
Yeah.
Or education, I think it's education. And because I always wonder, what it is, why this fella is talking this fool. And when she resigned.
Yeah,
after the routine, she resigned.
She couldn't take it.
And, he started quickly to turn against, the Trumpism.
Yeah.
Right? But Lindsey Graham, history wouldn't be kind them, son. Because I hear him tonight, I think he's saying that, it's only hate that they impeaching Trump and what is waited for him to be impeached after he left. What is it impeached George Washington? George Washington dead. George Washington dead before Martin Luther King was killed. George Washington dead a long time.
The bottom line is what took place. Somebody has to be accountable for that. Lives were lost in that, and I think they overstepped their bounds in regards to what they did. And they just have to suffer the consequences for whatever.
And what was amazing, man, is like listing off some of the persons who are being charged. Police officers from Virginia. Yeah. They had some Russians. They had to get some interpreters for in court. Russians.
So
was in the group.
It was in the group.
They following
Donald Trump.
I always crack a joke and I think that Donald Trump is the first Russian president of the United States.
Yeah. Now
that's a joke, that.
Now we begin to see that. 326-8255. That's the number. The phone lines are open. And the big, even though the Prime Minister gave his speech and everything else like that, but we still have a big story we're going to be talking about today, or this week, about the fishing resource.
Yeah, we have short time. The government amend the Fisheries Act, and they created a Resource and Conservation Amendment Bill 2020. And as a result of trying to prevent the way Bahamians fish is what caused fishing to a great extent.
When you say cost fishing, what do you mean cost fishing?
I'm saying that the way how Bahamians fish, right, conservatively, it somewhat caused fishing to continue for generations. When you bring foreigners, right, who has really have their fishing grounds, I talk about depleted, right? After long, the same thing will happen here, and this bill should have been long past. It's overdue.
It's overdue.
And now, as a result of the government trying to regulate, and some would say, those who fishing commercially, it's now causing some backlash as a result of the government being sued.
Right? The government being sued?
The government being sued over the Fisheries Bill. And I think one of the...
Can they sue the government over the Fisheries Bill?
Yeah. And the courts are there, the courts are there to hear all sides all the time.
Yeah, but...
that's why I tell you, when the Prime Minister, the competent authority, and he stated some weeks ago that he don't support oil drilling, that's when I said, hey, I can't just say that.
You gotta show me that.
You could say that by doing something called a judicial review. And a judicial review is where the court, where you file a certiorari, a mandamus, or a prohibitor to the court and ask for persons and papers to come to court. You understand? Okay. And then the court goes through everything and rule that if it was legal, it was not unconstitutional, and it was a right to them to have this privilege to do it. Let the court decide that. Right. And because the same thing I said, the same thing I said when telco was being sold by the former chairman of the PLP, and I said,
the former chairman of the PLP. You're referring to Ingram?
The former chairman of the PLP is the right honorable.
Just said the former prime minister.
The former prime minister was the former chairman of the PLP.
You can understand,
When he sold telco, the cable and wireless, I said, I on my shows, I had some, on my other shows on Love 97, and I said then, how is it that no one or no political organization who could afford it, or any good-minded Bahamians requested a judicial review? Because if you feel that it's no problem for the accounting firm of the company that's purchasing Metelco
Tell you how much
to
it
be the evaluator of the value of the Bahamian people asset.
Yeah,
If you don't have no problem with that, then don't file.
yeah.
If you have where Cable and Wireless was not allowed to even bid, there was the deadline had passed. When the rules say you must submit before the deadline, Cable and Wireless was never around when the deadline passed, and they was allowed to be accepted. Their bid was able to be. I mean, it was just and if you allow
Too many
that
monkey business. went on.
60 million to be allowed on the account for the company with buying the majority shares. I mean, it's so much things that questions could have been arose, and maybe the court might have said, no, that's a normal thing for millions of dollars to be left on the account for the operation for a company that's purchasing it. So and make it a law that and rule that every time when you're selling something, you must leave some money for you to buy it to have a smooth operation, continuing operation. But you don't know that. But I'm saying that the opportunities and the privilege are there for you to have redress, and it's called true judicial review.
Okay.
And this is a prime example. Because if you look at the headline now, Showtime is saying, government sued over Fisheries Bill. And below that it states that the fishermen wives asked court to declare new law discriminatory. Right, these foreigners, right, who come to this country, and majority and mostly they married Bahamian women to gain status,
Bahamian
to
status.
have a right to fish or have a right to stay,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And majority of them, once they get their paper, they go back home and bring back a woman who they really love, of their own citizenry. And it's been a practice, right? And some of the Bahamian women who take heed to some of the bad experiences that other Bahamian women had, some of them don't never give them full citizenship. They just hold them with a spousal permit and let them be,
So-
it's like a torture to them.
So I still don't understand, why are they suing the government?
They're suing the government because this particular bill only allow Bahamian citizens
To fish.
not to fish, to commit commercial fishing, to fishing commercially,
Okay.
commercial quantities.
Okay, so-
Because there's a rule or there's a law that only limits you as a foreigner for how much fish you can get.
Okay, so in actuality, if I'm a fisherman and say I have a boat and I know of some Dominican fishers, I can't get them to work for me. That's what this bill is.
No, you can't get a foreigner to come in the Bahamas to fish for you, not commercially.
Not commercially.
No, if you were in a yacht and you're off Bimini and
Right.
you're fishing,
Okay.
I'm trying to get some wahoo and some marlin.
Okay.
You're limited so
So-
much crawfish. So I
so-
think it's what,
so in
5
actuality-
pounds or something like that.
So in actuality, the foreigners are saying they want to sue the government because the law doesn't allow them to be able to go and fish as well.
But not only that, what's amazing and what's really give them this audacity is that the former prime minister, the former chairman of the PLP,
The former prime
the
minister.
Right
Go
Honorable
ahead.
Hubert Alexander Ingram,
Yeah, go ahead.
say he's embarrassed. I'm not quoting him, but I'm paraphrasing that he's embarrassed by the F&M bringing this bill. Why would you be embarrassed when the F&M party, which is the government, supposedly supposed to be a Bahamian government, who's supposed to look out for Bahamians? So they have the right to look out for Bahamian. And the former PLB chairman is saying that he was embarrassed by this bill.
But I mean, when you look at it from a different standpoint, right? I think when you draw the line to say no foreigners could commercial fish, right? I think I don't know. There should be some loophole as to how, in order for you to be a foreigner and fish commercially. There has to be a loophole there for you to be able to do it, maybe under somebody else's license. Or, see, because the thing is, this is how I'm looking at it. If I have a foreign wife, if my wife from a different country, me and her get married, and then she's a good fish, why she can't work on a commercial fishing boat?
No. She can work,
Mm.
but she must obtain citizenship first. Because see, you just allow, because she married Ivan Francis.
Yeah, okay.
Anyone, if you allow the law, let me just say, like, let me not use you personally.
So
because
we
when it
have
come to
foreigners that
Washington.
work over here before.
What I'm saying to you, no. Fisheries trying to protect, right? The natural, that's one of the natural resources of this country.
Right.
You have to have some rules and regulations. No one is saying that the foreigners can't fish it, you gotta get it. They can fish it.
Right.
But they cannot fish it commercially in large quantities to sell. If you want to just explain to you.
Hold on, wait a minute now.
They don't need to fish in the ground,
I'm kind of understanding why the former prime minister would say this bill really doesn't make any sense.
But all you do is read.
I'm beginning to listen. I'm beginning to understand why he said that. See, because if I'm a foreigner and I can come to the Bahamas and work, whether it's under a permit or whether it's because I got citizenship or whatever, why would you take the rights away from me to work on a fishing boat? I mean, all you have to do is put measures in place that don't allow them to come and start their own fishing, commercial fishing on their own and carry the fishes someplace else. They have to be under some kind of boat what is registered under the Bahamas Maritime or something like that.
Yeah.
But don't say they can't fish.
No one said they can't fish. You ain't listening. They could fish, but they cannot fish commercially.
That's what
Don't
I'm
mix
saying.
it. No, don't mix it.
Why they
If you
can't
mix
fish
it, you're
commercially?
confusing it, huh?
Why they can't fish commercially?
Because you have listen, I'm gonna give you one. In the United States, you have to born in the United States of America
To be a prime minister,
to be the president of the United
Yes,
States.
okay.
All right. That makes sense? Does that make sense to you?
To some degree it does.
What it does, it gives persons who born on the American soil a privilege over other persons who born to even to American parents.
Yeah. Okay, but at the same time, they could still hold other posts.
They can hold other posts.
But
So
they just
people-
can't be the president.
Foreigners in this country are still fishing. But
Yes.
you're not, it's illegal for you to fish in commercial quantity. And I support that. And listen to me. Listen to me.
I don't know.
Listen to me. See, all right. The former prime minister says ex-cabinet minister Turnquist and Sons represent the F&M core values. That right there, he ain't talking about the fisheries. Right? Because he never, ever, I can recall, where the former prime minister boasts and brag, but nothing but Peter Turnquist. And all of a sudden, he's supporting them. You figure it out.
Say again, try it again.
The former chairman of the PLP, Hubert Alexander, the Right Honorable Hubert Alexander Ingram, is saying that he supports the former Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Peter Turnquist, and the former Minister of Health, Dr. Dwayne Sands. He supports them in their quest for raising that the government should not move ahead with preventing foreigners from fishing in commercial quantities in this country. Listen, you ask every single member of parliament, former or present, whenever they come on the show, and you ask them, what is it that a Bahamian can do other than voting what a foreigner can't do in this country?
It's
the same thing. You have to have things in this country where Bahamians should have a privilege or have a right over persons who are not citizens.
So, but when you look at that,
And this is one of them.
But independent thinker, listen.
Yes, sir.
When you look at that, right? It's kind of discriminating in a sense. Mainly
Discriminating to who?
It's discriminating
To foreigners?
To the foreigners.
Right, but foreigners can go in the casino right now in this country and gamble, and you can't gamble.
I can gamble.
In the casino?
I can gamble.
In the casino?
In a casino.
In the Paradise Island Casino?
No, that's a different question you asked.
No.
Anyway, 326-8255. I can open up the phone lines on that. Let me tell you why I say that. Independent thinker. There are ways, and I don't know who's dropped these bills and things that they try to put across the board, right? And when you talk about this bill, they knocked down, some of the members of parliament knocked down the bill when people wanted to talk about the natural resources. Some of them said, "Oh, we don't need to," and they knocked that down. Now, this bill that they come up with, this bill, you don't need this bill, Let me tell you what you need to do. You really need to find ways to make it a certain, put it a certain way. So if the foreigners come to fish commercially, they'll have to be a part of a boat or whatever they call it. That yes, that's you have to do it in that way. You just can't say they can't fish commercially.
No, you ain't just saying that. You passing the law. You plenty countries around the world. How?
Man, anyway,
Listen.
I can go to my
Get
phone
a-
line. I don't get a call or something to see what he's saying. Good evening, Independent Thinker. I'm in Showtime, Prime Time. What's on your mind?
Ivan Francis.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Showtime. Independent thinker.
Yes, sir.
Put the handcuffs on him.
Put the handcuff on him.
Put the handcuffs on him. Treason.
It's treason it's treason for what?
Treason for what he's speaking up right now.
Oh,
We need to reset.
Please explain that to
We need
me.
to reset a lot of things in this country.
Okay, explain your point to me, please.
Stop it. Stop it.
All you have to do is explain your point.
Put the right way in place. We don't have the right way in place. And plus, niggas, people like Tennessee Wells have fishing boats and they have Dominicans on them. We have like a lot of other politicians got fishing boats with people on them. We need to stop it and reset, my friend. We need to reset a lot of things in this country. What do you say, Independent Thinker?
I would do 100%.
Now, man, let me. You know I got a lot to say about things. Now, Francis, you ain't never been out there on the high sea in your life. You know what I mean? You know anything about on the high sea?
Not much.
You don't know much on the high sea, but you better learn what's happening on the high sea.
Google Mason. It is just sick by looking at the boat.
Hey, Mason.
Independent thing on the sea every day. I used to boat out in the water every day. And do you know these people will take your life on the water?
Mason, I'm aware of that, but listen to my point.
But we
Mason.
lost defense force officers before. We lost. If he go back, and he's a fellow who have a son on the defense force. So he should be one of those who should research the history of how these foreign.
I'm well aware of the history regarding the situation that took place on the water, on the high seas.
Okay.
Mason, listen to what I'm saying. Let me just answer this question between you and I. Do you think that there are other ways that we could have set the bill whereas they could fish commercial, but they'd have to fish commercial with under a boat that is registered here in the Bahamas? You with me, Mason?
Hey, listen. Ivan, this your boy, man. I like to play ball with you. You listen to Skadar.
This Kada or the Lutra?
Yes, sir. And listen to me carefully. I want you to know one thing.
Yes, sir.
I got a brother two brothers who's on the defense force. One of my brothers was in the water for 8 hours before they found him because of Dominican fishermen. And then another guy died because they seen the boat under the water. A guy from Bluffley, Jefferson. And I got a next brother on the defense force. You don't play with that one. You know what I mean? He don't play at all. He ain't got time to play with them. He ready to put the law in place in these Bahama Islands if you don't know. Phil Culmer. You know Phil Culmer?
Yes, man. I know what you mean. I played ball with Phil Culmer, man.
He stands for law.
Yes, I'm aware of that. I understand what you're saying.
But you and you and me, check this out. You know what I mean? We got to reset this whole program, brother, because the people who has been putting these laws in place, they were illiterate to the point that they didn't know what was taking place. They was only looking out for their pocket. Now, guess what? Today, we gotta look out for all Bahamians. We cannot look out for them alone. What I mean, our natural resources, everything has to be reset, my friend, and we reset it.
I can.
Reset, guess what? We got a different government come in, and the next year and a half, we got a different government in power.
Okay, I can understand what you're saying with resetting, but I still say that there are means and ways that you can go to give everybody a chance to fish commercially. Anyway, Gaddafi, it's good to hear from you, man.
Before you go.
Yes, sir.
I mean, independent niggas know I got some things to say.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, quickly.
This is what I have to say. Okay, I ain't been on the show for a long time, and I full of information that needs to be answered. Number one, what I mean? I want to know if Dwayne Sants was the only person that's supposed to be resigning his position when the COVID-19 first started. I also would like to know that the ministers that were involved with this woman who was trying to get Frank Smith convicted for what he done, and these guys got involved. I want to know if they supposed to give up their position. It's a lot of other things, man. You know what I mean? The etiquette, man, he only open his mouth when it's time to open his mouth. I want to find out who would give chance or allow these people to come in our country when we had a shutdown from Prime Minister.
Okay, we're working on it for you. All right.
Wait for me. You better answer me now.
We don't have the information right now. But
Independent people that answer that for me. Let him go.
all right, appreciate your call, man.
Yeah, Ivan.
Okay, Gaddafi, appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
I
he's
know
asking
Gaddafi.
that the resignation of
Dwayne
Dwayne
Sines.
Sines, where he the only person, and if he asking me based on the limited information in the tabloids, didn't he see the acting supposed to resign also? Yeah.
Okay.
In my view, in my personal view, I don't control the government.
Right.
I don't make decisions for the government. But if I had
Anything to do with it?
not anything, if I had the power,
You would
to I've asked for
resignation.
his resignation
Yeah.
before 5 o'clock.
Most of the time.
And he asked also about the conviction of the coerce with the witness, and that is considered.
Just before you answer that, let me go back to my phone lines. Good evening, independent thinker, Ivan Showtime, prime time. What's on your mind?
Ivan,
Yes, sir.
what's going on?
Everything's good, man. How you feeling?
Thank God for life. Okay, you know the situation in America with Donald Trump is because of false information, right?
It's because of false information?
Yeah,
Explain
false
more.
information. He tell them the election is fraud and the whole 9 yard and all this other kind of stuff, right?
Right, okay. I see what
Okay,
you
so
said.
that caused the problem, right?
Right.
Okay, so you got the fellow on your show now who giving out false information.
Like,
Okay, because this okay. I didn't even really want to call, but this part. But then I got to say something on this particular thing.
go ahead.
Okay, I got a friend of mine who own a boat. Okay, the problem is with that is the humans so like the wood. Okay.
Okay.
So when they go out for 2 months, 3 months, when they come in, and the fella got all his money, then you can't find him to go back out on the next trip, right?
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
So now Dominican Republic people them and things, they like to work.
Good point.
It have nothing to do with them commercial fishing in our land, because that's against the law. They working on Bahamian boats.
That was my
That's what the
point.
problem is. They working on Bahamian boats. One fellow who in charge of this particular situation, when the swings came up, he said that he paid about $70,000 for work permit. Not even this ain't not this. I ain't talking about spousal and all of this other kind of stuff. The same way how the concrete Joe man or the white man, when he come here to invest and he bringing people and he bring them on work permit and the whole 9 yards to do his business.
Right.
Okay, so if you saying you trying to empower Bahamians, so that means Bahamians should be able to bring in people to work for them and the whole 9 yards. Okay, so that's what this situation truly and honestly is all about.
Wow.
They saying the Dominican Republic people is work.
Right.
It's work. They paying the government the work permit, the whole they going. It's legal. This ain't illegal.
Well, Bojangles, I'll say this. If I have a boat and I have Bahamians working on that boat, and the Bahamians don't want to show up to work and all that stuff, and I realize that the Dominican, they hungry, they want to work, and I could get better results, my brother, that's the direction I have to go in. Because after spending all that money, on my boat, and I can't get the Bahamians to work, I have to maybe go to Dominican and maybe pay for their permits and everything and bring them over to work.
Bring them over to work.
You know, that's how I look at it. Anyway.
So it is showtime, and that's all the people them saying,
Yeah.
Are you trying to stop me from bringing my people in? I paying you, it ain't like I bringing them in, and like how that concrete Joe's got all of them Haitian people working illegally.
Right.
No kingdom and all of this other kind of stuff, what they do.
You're going through the red tape.
People
Yeah.
trying to do it the right way.
Yeah.
You understand? And then you stay there trying to say, no. What kind of site that is, Ivan?
Yeah. I'm with you on this one, Bojangles. I'm with you, buddy. Anyway, appreciate your call, man.
All right.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. If you can't get the Bahamians, and there ain't much Bahamians out there right now who ready to go fish commercially. You know, most of these guys, they may go out on a trip, maybe a couple hours a day, and they just make
Listen,
enough money
You
to
gotta
get
understand
by.
something. Listen, I hear him, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And he sounds like he's right. He say he don't have no boat. He say he cousin got one boat or he friend got one boat, right? And I understand his plea from the conversation maybe what he had with him, right? And but the people who are appealing the laws ain't that, you know, the people who are appealing laws are the persons who are spouses of Bahamian women, right? They abuse the system for years, my brother. Let me tell you this. One boat is have like 35 engineers. They use as excuses. If you allow, because the immigration laws allows you to bring in a foreign engineer on the boat, right? And it's much cheaper to bring in an engineer, because the engineer may only cost you $1,000 a year for the point permit. A diver, to bring him in, may cost you maybe $5,000 a year. So you have like one boat going to receive like 35 engineers, foreigners, because they're abusing the system. They keep on saying this is an engineer. They apply for an engineer for them.
That's where
right?
it comes in where the government now should realize how they're abusing the system and put measures in place that the system can be
The
abused
measure
easily.
is one of the measures that the government is trying to implement is being a citizen. Why we as Bahamians don't want a right to how
That's
enabling right over other people. Listen, how much Bahamians in this country, right, ever get 10,000 acres of land?
How much Bahamian ever get 10,000?
How much Bahamians you ever heard of or know of who ever get 10,000 acres of ground land?
I know of individuals got 10.
Bahamians?
Bahamians, yeah.
Who get over 10,000 acres of land?
Yeah, man. And some of them family islands, if they ain't got 10,000
they foreigners, man.
between the family. Anyway, I tell you what, we do for a first break, man. Let's take a break. But I got a question for you when we come back. Anyway, everybody, good evening again, and you're listening to Prime Time. We can take a quick break, but when we come back, we want to keep the phone lines open. 326-8255 is the number. Join the conversation. I understood we got persons out there on Facebook. Those of you who want to join us on Facebook,
Instagram.
remember Independent Thinker, Instagram, we also Independent Thinker 242. We'll take a break and be back after this. Back everybody, I'm in Showtime Independent Thinker, Prime Time, and boy, listen, during the break, I was really informed by a lot of things. We can talk about it in a second. Let's just go back to the phone line. Good evening, Prime Time, I'm in Showtime Independent Thinker. What's on your mind?
Hi, good night.
Good night.
My name is Reggie Sands.
Reggie Sands.
Yeah,
Appreciate you, buddy.
Former fisherman
Former fisherman.
for many years.
Okay, Reggie
And you
Sands.
guys seem to be missing the point about this Dominican fishing problem.
Okay, bring us up to speed.
I've been fishing for 20-some years.
Mm-hmm.
I got guys that fish for even more. And what we've seen, the destruction of the style of fishing that the Dominican guys use. I told count. I used to tow count and supply the whole Aramaki. We go out and we get 9,000 count in 5 days. We back in now, so we sell it for a count and we go back out to sea.
Wow.
If you go around Pulaski Dock right now, you will see all the small fishing boats sitting on tied up to the dock. Those guys use the supply. You ever saw a count shortage before at Pulaski Dock many years back? There was always count. Bahamians used to get those counts. You ever saw a fish shortage? The Bahamians used to get that fish. You know what the Americans do now? They destroy the seabed. They destroy the fish. They destroy the count. They wipe out their country, and now they're here trying to wipe out the Bahamians, the Bahamas. And we can play around with this marriage thing all we want. We can play around about the women's rights all we want. Most of those women, I wouldn't say all, because I know a few that are married. They're married and happily married. But most of them are here being paid to be married to those young men. All right? But they are destroying the Bahamian fishing. All of Pulaski Dock, Iraqi, everywhere you go, the small fishing boat that used to go out and bring in 10,000 count and 5,000 pounds of skin count, they almost gone. But we used to keep the market supplied. So they
knocked out the small guys and took the crew of those guys, because those Dominican boats have Bahamians on them. So how do you say Bahamians don't want to work when the keep-up men are Bahamians?
Okay, Reggie, let me ask you a question. You've been a fisherman for all these years, right? And of course, you on what I could say the front line. What in your mind would be the solution to this? You familiar with the bill that Independent is talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. First of all, give me your views as it relates to the bill. You think the bill was a good one?
The bill was an excellent one. I took part in helping to put it together years and years. We fought with every minister that came down, but this particular minister, Pintard, really put it to the floor.
Okay.
But fishermen, that bill was put together by fishermen, local fishermen involved in and contributing and putting in all our points of views and things that Bill like to see passed.
Okay. Good point. Good point. But let me ask you this now. Looking at that bill, and like you said, you've been a part of even creating the bill somewhat. When we talk about being able, you have to be a citizen, or would you say?
You have to be a citizen.
Citizen.
You have to be a citizen in order to commercial fishing.
Commercial fishing boat.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So, in actuality, you're saying that it doesn't matter who owns the boat, but once you're on the boat, you should be a Bahamian.
No, there are laws to make sure that the boat is owned by
Why
Bahamian.
did they go? Why would one boat have 20 engineers? That was always the law. They found loopholes to get around it.
Okay. So that means that the bill should have been set in a way that is hard to manipulate. And you talk about a lot of engineers being on it. And that should have been one of the things that they've been addressing. I'm not saying that the bill is entirely, off or whatever the case may be. What I'm saying is that when you talk about having to be a Bahamian to commercial fish, I don't know. I believe there are different ways you could put it, and you could still be a foreigner and still fish. But then there are guidelines and regulation that you'll have to abide by. I mean, that's how I'm looking at it.
If you see the destruction in our seabed, there's a commercial that goes around, and it kind of angered me when I used to see it.
Yeah, okay.
How they'll say the fish, you're eating the conch salad or the fish on the plate and it disappears. That's happening.
Yeah.
That's not
But-
happening because of environmental problems, you know.
It's because of how the Dominican and
The
The
method.
technique of
Yeah.
the Dominican.
well, share some light with me as it relates to their technique. How different it is from the technique that the locals use.
Let's use conch. I'm very familiar with conch.
Okay. Go
When
ahead.
we go get conch, we'll go and dive up. I used to dive 3,000 conch a day. Okay, me and my keep
Wow.
my dinghy.
That's
We'll
impressive.
Put them on our big boat, and we'll take them to a bar or sand hole or whatever. And we'll knock those conch and we'll throw those shells in that area. That's our place to put shells.
Right, right.
The Dominicans knock their conch out underwater, juke them out of underwater, and right where you go and get your conch from, the dead conch is there. Now, imagine you ain't gonna eat dinner in the graveyard. Okay? I don't think the conch are gonna do the same thing either.
Yeah, yeah.
All right? And so they wipe out even the fish. I used to fish in a place called Quizal, which is between Cuba and Miami and Florida. Okay, away from most of the area. Dead, they wiped it out. I'm talking about they get everything that you can, and not just the poachers. I mean, not just the ones that are, the poachers also, because when we shut our season down, those guys leave from him. You know, a lady that said the other day when they're protesting, their husband goes home for summer and come back when the season opens. What you think he's doing during the summer? Is he hanging out with his wife? I mean, is he back in the Dominican Republic on vacation? Or he went back to his family? Because he's only here with her while the fishing season on. And he goes back to spend the rest of the time. And I'm not talking, I'm guessing. I have a fishing boat. I had guys on my boat before.
Have you ever
I
employed
know what they do.
Dominican fishermen?
Yes, I did. One trip and never again.
Because, but if that's your boat, you should have been in charge to say, hey, look here, we're not going to do that. That's not permitted. That's illegal, or whatever the case may be.
That's why you say never again.
You're a businessman. You have a shop, or do you have a business? You know how to tell someone in the shop, don't open a soda because the soda's for sale, and the person go behind the counter and open the soda. It don't work like that. Once you get in the water, you can't control it.
Yeah.
Again, then I'm not saying every Dominican is a bad Dominican.
Yeah.
I know some, I can call names of very, very good guys.
Yeah.
But these guys that come, I know cases where you got a 20-some-year-old marrying a 70-some-year-old woman that probably never even seen him before in his life.
Yeah.
I know one who came here, married in the Bahamas, and married in the Dominican Republic. But
Yeah.
forget all that. The destruction is what I'm talking about.
Well,
Their way of fishing. When we used to go to Riding Rock, you go to Riding Rock, you come home. One day, sometimes we travel in catamaran flotillas. Okay? 10 boats coming back home at one time. With everyone got 5,000-8,000 conch on board the boat. Okay?
Wow.
And we supplied, sometimes we had to wait for months, we had too much conch. Okay,
Wow.
now there's no conch. Why? Don't say Bahamians ain't no good fishermen. I can compete with any Dominican there is. I'm not going to take the chance to go in the depth of water that they go to. And they break that law. They go in 80, 90 feet of water. And I'm a very experienced diver. But they break every rule, every law that we set. But then we're here talking about their marriage. Go and check the marriages. Let them do a real investigation of those marriages, and they'll see. But so I tell you,
well, Reggie,
guys who are out there talking about their fishing business, most of them only got in the fishing business because of a business opportunity. Most of the fishermen that we will call fishermen nowadays are sitting in the policy dog talking those stories.
yeah. Anyway, Reggie, as always, man, we appreciate your call. Great input, Reggie. And
You have a good man in the studio with you.
say that again.
I say you have a very good man in the studio with you.
No, only me and independent thinking, you know. Okay, okay, Reggie. Appreciate your call, man.
Listen, he's so right. He's so right about those pointing out those valuable points. So when the argument starts, you'll be able to defend why it's such a good idea and move by the government. Number one, see, but Bahamians need to see behind the scenes, right? How is it that it's so important to the former prime minister, right, the former chairman of the PLP, that I ain't hear for the last 3 years from Doreen. I ain't hear from him.
No, man, don't say that.
What the former prime? But tell me something that the former prime minister said before this since Doreen.
Since Doreen?
Yeah.
A lot of things.
Wow.
If I tell you one, you want me to tell you one? The other day when Darrell Roll was not.
No, he's speaking of a dead man. I talking about an issue that concerns Bahamian people. This right now is a political move. Listen to me, man.
Why you
This
think
is
it's
a political move. This is political because he is trying to this right now, this statement, where the former prime minister, the former chairman of the PLP, he's trying to play on the innocence of women who married foreign men. Because why would he be rowing? Right? In my view, why would it be so important for him to row on behalf of foreign men? And the Bahamian people have a law in place where the country would only get 12.5% on oil drilling. I ain't bought them. He ain't say one word but that. But for Bahamians, all his debt he leave on him and the former PLP opposition leader, where they had the law for him and stuff. Them two leave all his debt on the back of the poor people in this country. And he ain't seen nothing wrong with we only getting 12.5% if they find oil. But he went with the foreign man. It's important that he talk on behalf of the foreign man who can't commercial fish in this country.
No,
And they gotta be joking.
He's just giving you his
joking.
views. He's giving you
You
his
gotta be
views
joking.
based on the bill.
I'm not saying he ain't giving you, but
Yeah,
I'm
but
saying,
you said he rowing and
and I'm saying to you that how is it that Bahamians are protesting about the 12.5%? Bahamians are protesting about Ocean Key. What he could tell you plenty about it. The former prime minister can tell you plenty about Ocean Key, right? But with the Aragonite for all them years, right? He ain't mentioned nothing but that. Could tell you with Bahama Rock and all those companies in the States with mining and Freeport. He ain't mentioned nothing but that. And Bahamians are protesting the natural resources in this country. But the former prime minister ain't noticed that important. He went with a foreign man. He ain't getting right to commercial fish in this country. Gotta be joking. Progressive Liberal Party chairman, the Right Honorable Hubert Alexander Ingram, and former cabinet minister and former MP of the PLP. What he's saying, don't hold water. He's just being disgusting. Right?
You think it's
He's being, listen, this right now, time will come, right, that you'll see that this is politically motivated, and you'll see those same two names again, or maybe even one of those names, come up in a contest against the leader of the party.
How new is this bill?
I know the bill just passed in December.
In December.
Yeah. And
The-
2020, see? It's,
Yeah.
2020.
So let me
Fisheries
ask,
Bill Amendment 2020.
okay.
In my personal view, I feel he's just being mischievous. He's now to raise his wife because he knows this is getting ready for election. So he's now starting
No,
to
he's
find
out of- he's out of politics.
he need all the word politics. If you were politics, you would never say that. Why Loftus Rocky ain't talking about this? Why
Maybe
listen,
nobody
man?
came to him to-
Why Frank Watson isn't talking about this? You are
Why, hold on,
listen to me.
hold on. Why Frank Watson? Is Frank Watson a
No, I
fisherman?
know. I'm giving you some names of some people.
Oh, I thought
Who
he was
a deputy prime minister. He's one step away from being the prime minister.
I know, but
Why isn't he speaking again? What I'm saying to you is,
I thought you
this
meant-
is politically motivated.
I thought you meant Frank Watson is a fisherman. That's
No,
what-
in my mind serves me correctly, I think he's involved in some fisheries business too.
Frank-
And if the F&M, if the Free National Movement, knowing that some of their key supporters for the Free National Movement has fishing businesses and uses Dominicans on their boats, and they still pass this amendment, it clearly shows that this is a bipartisan law and it's a law that's needed in this country.
I would
So
say-
tell the former Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Hubert Alexander Ingram, the former chairman of the PLP, tell him, listen, he
Why
has
you
now
always
been
address-
expired.
Why are you always addressing
Time's
the
up,
Prime
brother.
Minister, the former Prime Minister?
I want people to remember because some people who listen
No,
to me,
if you say the
some,
former Prime
listen,
Minister,
some of the
he knows
persons
who-
who follow me, elderly, right? They're senior citizens. They like the information I bring, and some of them are very elderly. And once I give as much description as possible, they'll get who I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm talking about the former Prime Minister, former chairman
Well
of the
said.
PLP.
Okay, well said.
Yeah.
But I still stand the fact that this bill.
But why are you
it's
criticizing?
I'm not
why you-
criticizing the bill.
Okay,
you know.
why? What
I'm
problems do
saying-
you have with this bill that commercial fishing, not sports fishing, not personal fishing, but commercial fishing? Why do you have? I believe you. You sure you'll be in?
The fact is, I think what you're doing is you're drawing the line
Yeah.
a bit too, to say you have to be a citizen to be on a commercial fishing boat.
So, a
There are
foreigner-
different ways. There are different ways that you can.
Listen.
There are different
So
ways.
that I can say something to you, and then you might even never say that again.
What? Go ahead.
We as Bahamian in this country watched the PLP in 2015 continue the discrimination in the Constitution against me and you who paying all this tax in this country. But given where a foreigner could gamble in the casino on Paradise Island or on Cable Beach, and me and you can't do it in our own country.
But let me tell you how I feel about that.
Right.
I feel like, and a lot of people may disagree with me as it relates to it, but I feel like when the Progressive Liberal Party put that particular law in place, I think that law was not to discriminate against us.
I'm not talking fool, man.
But no, I want you to
But
listen now.
Okay,
I want
go
you to
ahead,
listen.
go ahead,
I want you to
go
listen.
ahead, go ahead.
I think when they put that law together, they were thinking more like, trying to protect us more.
Brother, you can't protect me from my own money. You ain't good.
No.
Listen, if I wait 5, 6, 7 days a week for my money, you think the former Prime Minister, right over Perry Gladstone Christie, and a bunch of married men could protect me from my money? No, man.
Let me kind of explain to you what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
go ahead.
Let me
I
tell
need you to explain that.
Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying to you. Okay? You know how much people, how much families went through so much hardship because of gambling? Hold on, wait a minute now, wait a minute.
Hold on now.
I'm just saying. See, if it was me, I would have been thinking along the line too. I would say, you know what, if I give these people, see, gambling is something, you're supposed to be gambling like when you're on a vacation or when you're doing it for a hobby more than anything else, okay? You had too much ways that people were able to start gambling, like right now, and I it is what it is, and I'm gonna tell you this. Right now, gambling has this country, you ain't seeing it yet because you're like a distance away from it. But you got some people out there doing so bad right now, and it ain't only because of this COVID-19 and the pandemic and all that, They taking their last dollar go spend. I tell you, but I know, okay? And the thing about that is that it's ruining families right
So
now.
you believe,
So-
you have a call on the line? Call on the line.
So we got to call on. Let's
I
go
respond to you. Don't forget that.
Yeah, I'm not going to
Respond
forget it.
that. All right.
Good evening, prime time, independent thinker, Ivan Showtime. What's on your mind?
Hey, yeah, Showtime. Listen, we always say we don't want to discriminate, right? This is me again, independent thinker. I used to work on boats that used to tow boats from the Bahamas to the United States of America. And I seen boats in marinas on Paradise Island and different marinas around the Bahamas. These American boats, what they do? They wait until in the nighttime and they fish these Bahamian waters when they going back to America, and then they dropping off the boat in the morning time and you see them coming in. These guys in America do the same thing the Dominicans do. Okay, they got a place down in Grand Bahama called Memory Rock. Just as much people, Bahamian fishermen in the back there, you have American fishermen fishing the same thing. Don't miss them, let them see where your spot is. Because that's what they put it in their GPS and they dying down. They raping the Bahama waters more than the Dominicans. You think the Dominicans raping the Bahamian waters? Americans is doing far worse than the...
Yeah, but Google Mason. Yeah, but Google Mason. This law doesn't discriminate you. This law doesn't discriminate against only Dominican. He's only using Dominican because they have the most. They have the highest number of that nationality in the fishing industry. So, but this law states this law is across the board for Haitians, for Dominicans, for Americans, for Canadians, for any nationality. You must be a citizen, a Bahamian citizen. That's all the law say. I mean, what is wrong with you being? Is something got to be in this country where a citizen should have privilege over a non-national?
Good. Hear this out.
All right, quickly.
The Dominicans get catch because they got slow boats. Americans don't get catch because they got far better equipment, and they are raping the Bahamian waters more than the Dominicans.
Well said. Appreciate your call, man.
Thank you.
Okay, Gaddafi. Independent thinker, like I was saying, right?
Line 4.
We got
Go to line.
Let's go. Good evening, prime time, independent thinker, Ivan Showtime. What's on your mind?
Yeah, this is Jonathan Carroll. I was a fisherman now for about 30 years.
Who's this? Carol?
Yeah. Jonathan Carroll out of Freeport.
Okay, go ahead, Carol. What's on your mind?
Commercial fisherman.
All right.
And when it comes to whether a foreigner should fish in the Bahamas, there should be no doubt, no ifs. Ain't no foreigner business fishing in the Bahamian water. Could we go in America and fish? Could we go to Canada and fish? Could we go any elsewhere and fish? Could we go to the Dominican Republic and get a fishing permit to go and dive in their water?
No.
Even though they don't have nothing there to dive for?
Great point. Great point, Carol. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Go ahead.
And that's just the brink. When you do carry a Dominican out on a fishing boat, be it 1, 2, 3, or 12 divers, each one of them have a prohibited or restricted weapon that they fish the waters with. Or when we have spear guns and the like, they are only used and being used in our waters by Dominicans or Hondurans. We have some Hondurans too, but mostly Dominicans. And when it comes to the counts, they kill the entire Bahama ground. They kill it. Because you would have one diver diving up to 14 and 15 skin bags of count per day. Sometimes you have 8 and 9 of them in one fishing boat. One big boat with 8 or 9 of them in dinghies. When they get through with that ground, all you have on that ground is shells. They don't bring the shells in. If you notice the Portuguese, when a diver come in, he brings his shells with them and with the count in the shell.
Bahamians.
They Bahamian divers. They bring their little catch. They bring their little 200 count, their little 400 count, their little 1,000 count in the shell. Back to Portuguese, break them out there and find something to do with the shell. You know what the Dominicans do? They would break out like 2, 3, 4, maybe 5,000 per diver a day. They don't even see the top of the water. The shell is laid right on the ground.
Mm. And you never, and don't call up.
Ground out there for the count. How do you expect if you go and you look all around you and all you see is human skeletons, you go wonder why I am in this area, eh?
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
Same thing with the conch.
all right, Carol. Let me ask you this: have you ever dove before with Dominican divers?
Of course, I had 3 and 4 of them on my boat. Okay?
Up until today,
This back in the,
90s.
this would be back in the 90s now.
Okay, all right.
I had 4
And that was the reason why you
they weren't hired as no divers, though, you know.
huh?
They weren't hired as divers. They were hired as engineer. I had an engineer, a freezer guy, a mechanic guy, and some other mechanical I had to put in order for immigration to give me permits. Okay? But most of that was done under the table
Yeah.
because you didn't even need a certificate showing that this guy knew anything about mechanics,
Ah,
air conditioning.
right.
They didn't have to produce a certificate saying I'm a certified mechanic or certified. You know what those guys were? They came here as divers. Okay?
All right.
And most of the divers that were being fished out of Andres, the big boat would meet them up on the casinos. They would come down in a poaching boat. And the big boat would go out with the keep-up man,
Right.
meet them on the casinos, and they would come aboard the boat and they would start their diving from there.
Wow.
Before the big boat come into Morsky Dock, they'll drop the divers on Andres. That's why you see Andres still have about, you talking about Dominicans was here 15 and 16 years ago. Andres still have them guys there. And they ain't starting to get paperwork yet. They're still illegals.
Wow.
They have kids here who's 16 years old. Yeah, I agree with that.
So do you think that this bill is timely and overdue?
It's very overdue, man. We should, I don't see how the Bahamians are some of the passive set of people in this world. Because we couldn't go in the Dominican Republic and fish without getting shoot. I mean, it's hard for Haitian to cross the line to go cross in the Dominican Republic without getting shoot.
Right. They sharing one line. They sharing one line, like how you share East Street and Wolf Road, and they can't cross the line. And they one line,
They cross that border, they get shoot.
like dog, and they throw them back across.
Yeah, this right now, that's what we talking about. You think a Dominican coming here to all picky-haired woman would get a buy of weeds for $100? Their weed bill is be $600 a month.
Wow.
Some Dominicans get straight here. They can speak their language. They can cook their food. These guys eat boiled plantain and boiled cassava and boiled yam or boiled pork or boiled ham to go with it. That's their food. They don't eat peas and rice and fried chicken and potato salad and macaroni. These women don't even know how to cook for them. Let me tell you, the Dominican guy would be here with his sweetheart, who is a woman out of the Dominican Republic, living with him. His wife would be living in Andres with her Bahamian sweetheart.
So it's
Okay.
about the people.
And they just want the people.
Yeah.
At one time when one of them was working for me, I went to Andres, pick up his wife's sweetheart to keep up for him
Good.
while he died out.
What?
And it was her dinghy because I didn't have a dinghy at the time.
Right.
Okay.
All right, Carol.
Well, listen. I listen. I appreciate that call, man. That's a great call.
Let me tell you something, man. Please get rid of them. I can't see how these Bahamian people ain't done. Get rid of the Americans because they couldn't fish close to me.
That's why I was trying to tell Mr. Carroll. I was trying to tell Showtime that when you see the former Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Hubert Alexander Ingram, talking fool like this is politically motivated, and he just skylarking and talking fool, and then you'll see the true colors and time to come when they.
Not just that. They share interest. The old politicians share interest in our fishing industry. You ever hear an industry with a natural resource that the politicians don't share? Huh?
But buddy. Some good information.
People ain't gonna be walking.
Carol, keep talking, buddy. There's some good information. Go ahead.
You know who is henchman there?
Who?
I could call one island for you. Grand Key.
Grand Key?
Okay, I could call one little key for you. Okay?
Yes, sir.
And that's surrounded by illegal and legal immigrants who do loan fishing.
Grand Key.
The women at their crack-out count twice as fast as these guys who selling concord for the ski.
Right. You right.
Okay?
Grand Key.
And then when you talk about the deputy and the rest of them, they specialize in getting these Dominican boats for these guys who don't know anything about fishing.
Right.
When we brought guys like Paradise Fishery and the other fish houses and them in the fishing business, we brought them in to harvest the fish and to give island seafood competition. Not to go buy the group involved with a foreign partner, bringing in 3 or 4 big boats and crew by foreign crew, Dominican and the rest of them, who killing out our grounds. We didn't get, that ain't what we bargained for.
Well, according to this bill, they're trying to clean it up. Anyway, listen, appreciate your call, Carol.
Yeah, man, that's the best thing they could do in the world is the
For the fishing business, right?
and send back, send out. They brought them Dominicans.
Right. Thanks you, Mr. Carroll. Good night. I want you to take care. Be careful. You have a call on to take a break. Take a final break. Take a
Yeah,
final
okay, let's take a break quick. Anyway, guys.
326-8255, 326-8255. Facebook page, Independent Thinker. Instagram, Independent Thinker 242. We'll be right back. If you want to send a text message, 376-2301. Gotta go to break.
Welcome back, everybody. Ivan Showtime, Independent Thinker, Prime Time. And of course, we just came back from our last commercial break of the evening. And Independent Thinker, like you said, the caller who called in a few moments ago, it was kind of.
Because he said he fishing for 30 years.
Yeah.
So he gave you a clear understanding of why he don't support, and he justified and give you reasons.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I tell you, in time to come, Bahamians in this country will understand exactly why a former prime minister will be on the next end against a party that he was hired to run or was running, right? He against the laws they passing that prevents a foreigner, but not preventing a foreigner from becoming a Bahamian citizen and giving them the same right, but prevent a foreigner who want to keep his nationality on commercial fishing in this country. The former prime minister never mentioned that foreigner can still commercial fishing once he gets citizenship. He's just trying to maybe play. Maybe, in my mind, he's trying to play on the innocence and ignorance of a Bahamian spouse, the foreign man.
326-8255, that's the number. The phone lines are still open. Those of you who want to join the conversation, and Independent Thinker. But I'm still looking at this from different perspectives, man. I don't know if they have to go to where having to be a citizen. You know, why they don't just say, if you're not a Bahamian citizen, here's the deal as to what you're going to need to commercial fish, and make it hard.
No, that's hard.
But
hard, you know.
That's extreme.
Why make it hard? No, why make it hard for them to fish it? You want them to fish it. You must become a citizen. If you become a citizen, you ain't got to marry a Bahamian woman. They don't want to leave their Dominican citizenship. Showtime, you got to understand this.
I understand.
Why would you want a foreign man? I ain't mind you saying a foreign woman. But why would you want a foreign man have the same right that you have in your country? That's not going to make sense to you?
I don't know. I don't think so. Not from that perspective.
All right.
Okay, but you know me. I look at things from both sides. And the thing is, I was skeptical as to why you trying to tell me I got to be a citizen to commercial fish.
Because that's
No, I'm saying
Right.
this is how I'm looking at it. Okay, that's how I'm looking at it.
You think everyone should have
It's
a...
almost,
you think
it's
everyone-
almost like you saying, if I want to play in the NBA, I got to be an American. To
No.
play in the NBA. I gotta
Playing
give
in the
up.
NBA is
I
totally
gotta give up.
NBA
No,
is
I'm
not
just
a
saying,
natural.
it's-
No, but NBA is not
Hold
a
on,
natural
it's
result.
just-
You're trivializing the importance and the
it's-
value of the natural result of this country when you do that.
No. What I'm saying is, I'm just looking at it from that perspective. In order for me to be involved in something that is my profession, that I'm good at in your country, I have to become a citizen.
And what's
here,
wrong with
okay?
that? In order to be American president, you must be born in the United States.
You
It's the
know
same
what?
thing.
Let me go to my phone lines, man. You're screwing me up, man. Let me go to my phone lines. Good evening, Independent Thinker, Ivan Showtime, Prime Time. What's on your mind?
Independent Thinker, I don't know who this guy is you got along with you on the show.
This is Ivan Showtime. What can I do for you?
I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your things that you said as it relates to why Bahamian women only marry divers from the Dominican Republic. You think Bahamian women should not find some other profession who they can fall in love with?
Hold on. Say that again for me so I can be clear as to what you said. Say it again for me.
Why is it that all these Bahamian women only fall in love with fishermen from the Dominican Republic? They don't have lawyers, doctors, and the rest of it.
Okay, let me give you my perspective on that. I don't think those Bahamian women fall in love with those men. For them, it's business. It's about the money. So they're just trying to arrange things so they could get some money, so the foreign man can get what he wants as well. So it's almost like I say, it's like a business agreement, so to speak. I don't think they fall in love. I think they just have a business proposition going on. All right, that's how it looked to me. I just tell you how it looked to me. I could be wrong, but that's how it looks to me.
Yeah, but for years now, we was battling this issue with guys coming here on Monday. You have a spouse of a man on Friday. You have JPs married in 6 and 7 on the same day. I'm trying to figure if the government ever investigated the people who caused all these so-called fraudulent marriages.
Well, that's a good point too. That's why I was telling Independent Thinker here. There are ways that you could counteract what you see the Dominican are doing. There are different ways you could do that. You know, and I'm not saying what they're doing is right with what they're doing. Obviously, based on the information that I know about and callers who've been calling in, yes, they're not good for the fishing industry automatically, and or just tonight I hear about all these things that they're doing. I know what has been going on for such a long time. But my point is that I'm making is the fact that the talking about having to be a citizen in order to work on a commercial fishing boat, I mean, it's kind of extreme. There are different ways you could do that wouldn't even allow them. You could even get more serious than that and tell them off the top, in order for this to happen, this is what needs to be in place, so forth and so on.
But that's what the government is doing. That's what you listen. Hold on, caller. I just want to say this to them. You have cruise ships that are registered in the Bahamas, that carry the Bahamas registry, and they are fully run by foreigners.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
It's just that you listen, and you ain't see no law stating that if your boat is registered in the Bahamas, you must carry Bahamian crew. No. If you want commercial fish, you must be a citizen. You shouldn't have a problem with that. I have to understand.
Caller, go ahead, caller.
Independent Thinker, I was actually drawn back by the fact that the former Prime Minister came up and spoke about discrimination or whatever the case may be. And now I understand why, for all the years, 25 years or better, we was trying to get rid of this problem. We couldn't go nowhere. We would go into meetings with the former Prime Minister. Sometimes the Minister of Immigration is the last meeting I think I attended, and they will all laugh up in your face, and at the end of the day, you go nowhere. And now I'm understanding why the chickens are coming home to roost. We know all the people now why we couldn't get nowhere for 25 years. And you know, with another big fellow who was involved in that, and he was also a former deputy prime minister. He was actually a partner with one of the fish houses who was taking out the government to court. We can't be serious in this country when we got foreigners illegally here and taking the government to court. You believe that? Marlon, you believe that?
Yeah, listen, I listen, it bothered me so much.
Taking the government to court.
Listen, it bothered me so much until it take up this whole show, and I have to revisit this. I have to bring some pictures, so some people on Facebook and on WhatsApp could see something that I'm going to prepare and bring up this show back again before the end of February. Remember, I tell you that.
Remember what
See,
You have to also invite some of us on the show.
I will bring some of the fishermen. I will do that the next show.
I heard a guy on Randall's show, I think it was yesterday, who called the names of true-born Bahamian fishermen and telling them that they pay their guys $500 or $600 a week for a trip, and how much money he makes, and how much his crew makes. And then there was another guy who called it another prominent fisherman who's saying that he got Haitians working on the boat, blah, blah, blah. Things are going to change, and it's going to be an uprising in this country if they don't get that straight.
Wow.
Threatening the Bahamian people in the government.
Exactly.
And you think I can support that? You think I can support that?
We're not talking about supporting people.
They can't the government. That's what they doing. It doesn't start. See, listen to me. I told you that if this F&M government came in and feel that this was that important to go ahead with this, the cabinet had to approve it before it reached the House Assembly. And one of the biggest fish houses that still stands around this country is run by two former F&Ms. Well, two presidents, maybe he was a former hierarchy in F&M. And the government still feel that this is important for the country. This is beyond partisan politics. This is for the generations. This is for the country. The well-being of the country.
Caller, you still there? You still there?
Or independent thinker.
Yes, sir.
The guy who was on Wendell Jones' show yesterday, I think it was. I don't want to call his name, but he said that I remember specifically that he was in the business for 10 years. The book, which he named as, I'm not even going to call the name of the boat, but he named it to make it look like the name is undone, could create a little discrimination. But 3 years ago, that boat had a different name, but he was in the business for 10 years.
Wow. Anyway, listen, caller, we just about out of time, but appreciate your call. But listen up now. We're going to have a follow-up show on this, okay?
I'm going to bring some fish.
Yeah. Show when some of us are in the studio.
Yes, definitely.
You don't get away with that. Consider it done. So said,
Right.
so done. And listen, I'm going to say something before we end this tonight. Right?
All right, caller, appreciate your call, man.
I'm going to say something
All
before we end this tonight. See,
Go ahead.
if you see the government knowingly know that free national members, hierarchy, stalwart councillors, I don't know, part of the NGM, this is a bold move. This is a bold move. This is a deliberate move, and they know that decisions like this, this is one of the reasons why the bus jeepney service business cannot get solved. It is why the taxi cab business cannot get solved. You have to take bold actions like this. You have to make decisions that will hurt some people, who will help the country. I guarantee you, because if you go back, the PLB tried bring some North Korean boats here, was do the long line fishing, was go down and bring up everything, and the start to create the conversation, and Tennyson Wells catch plenty flack with. Along, because I think he was had conversations with the PLP people who was bringing in these boats, right? And it caused a march start to build, and the idea was dropped. The boat was even tied up in Andres waiting to get approval. Never get approval. I don't know if they sink or they carry them back or they go someplace else, but they never get approval. Showtime. Some decisions that have to be made in this country in order to change some of the things. If you fear change, then you'll grumble and you'll complain.
Absolutely.
Right. But the former Prime Minister, he showed his hand. And clearly, the Bahamian people will understand in time to come that history showed that he supported foreigners without being a citizen, fishing commercially in this country. It's a bad thing.
Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for us. We got to get on out of here. For my co-host, Independent Thinker, of course, our engineer extraordinaire, and the whole entire crew, all the wonderful fishermen who called in, for everybody who are listening in, and whether it's by Facebook, Instagram, again, we want to say thank you so much. But don't forget, next week
Pierre the Pute. Listen, you can talk with the fisherman on him too, because he's pro-Bahamian. He's an indigenous Bahamian. He will give you just like how it is. That's how it's gonna come. Pierre the Pews. Next week Thursday, 7:30. Prime time and showtime and Independent Thinker live. Love 97.
Not now.
Good night, Bahamas. Right now.